Hi guys, so I'm going to read Adventure Comics number 240. So this was published in September of 1957. So Adventure Comics. Superboy in The Super Teacher from Krypton. Am I using my super strength correctly, teacher? Perhaps. But remember, if you fail even one of my super tests, you must give up your Superboy career. Superboy, The Adventures of Superman when he was a boy. Superboy, we'll see if you've learned my lesson on invulnerability. Dive into that volcano. Like any other boy, Clark Kent must attend school to learn. But in his secret identity as Superboy, it's a different matter, for there's never been anybody on Earth who could instruct the Boy of Steel how best to use his own superpowers. No one, that is, until now. For now Superboy must take lessons from the strangest schoolmaster of all time. And his whole career depends on passing the difficult tests of the Super Teacher from Krypton. One fateful day, as Smallville High lets out for a recess vacation. Whoopee! No books or study for a whole week!
I suppose Superboy will be very busy during our vacation, Clark.
To Clark Kent, secretly Superboy, Lana Lang is always teenage trouble.
I'll see a lot of you this week, Clark. Maybe I'll see Superboy, too.
Uh-oh. She's still suspicious that I'm Superboy, and will probably snoop all week. I'll be busy at my father's store, Lana. Gotta hurry there now. But, as Clark hurries away, his super telescopic vision spots something. There's a missile far up there, rushing down from the sky. It could be a meteor. I better check it fast, as Superboy. A swift change of costume and concealing park shrubbery, and the Boy of Steel arrows skyward to encounter, high above Earth, a strange visitant. Why, it's some kind of a mechanical man. But who, where? Ah, at last I found you. For I'm sure that only a Superboy, a native of Krypton like myself, could fly here as you're doing. You mean you were originally from the planet Krypton? The world where I was born? Yes, and I've been looking all over the universe for you. But don't just gape at me, boy. Let us land somewhere so I can begin your education. It's a bewildered Superboy who leads the way down to a secluded valley outside Smallville. But Krypton perished years ago, and the first thing you must learn, boy, is not to interrupt your teacher's explanations. Let me take you back to the time before Krypton perished, when its civilization was so scientific that advanced pupils were taught by powerful electronic brains mounted on mechanical bodies, like me. I'll now give you students the 84 formulas for this particular reaction. You must memorize them instantly. We teachers were given mighty metal bodies and jet power for movement, so we could take our pupils anywhere. You, Carthan, state of the genus and species of this Kryptonian whale?
It belonged to genus 4, species 19.
Your father, the great scientist Jor-El, constructed me, the wisest mechanical teacher ever made, for a special purpose.
But, Jor-El, no one believes your warning that Krypton will blow up.
But it's time, and we must migrate to Earth before it happens. I've built this robot teacher to give our son a special education, when he grows up on Earth. My memory units absorbed everything I heard and saw that day. We'll have superpowers on Earth, and this special teacher will teach our son how to use his powers.
Jor-El, that fearful sound from inside Krypton, and the building is quaking.
The chain reaction your father predicted hath begun, and Krypton rocked toward doom.
At least we can save our son. The model rocket will take him to Earth.
But neither we nor the teacher can go with him. Then, as the small rocket bore you away into space, Krypton exploded, and my electronic brain blacked out. My metal body survived the explosion, but I must have drifted in space for years, until the rays of a passing comet reactivated my controls. I must find Jor-El's son and educate him, the task I was built for. He'll be on Earth, wherever that is.
Now, back to the present.
But it's not necessary. You see, I've already learned how to use my superpowers. Nonsense! I will teach you what you need to know, just as your father planned. And you had better pass my course, or you'll have to stop using superpowers. You mean I must quit being Superboy if I can't pass? It was your father's last wish, that if you failed my course, you must stop using your superpowers on Earth, lest you harm Earth people. Well, if that was my father's wish, I guess I'll have to pass your course, or quit being Superboy. My lessons will be on super strength, super speed, X-ray vision, invulnerability, ingenuity, with a final test I can't tell you about yet, but which is the most difficult of all. What can that final test be? It must be really tough. Now I'll show you how to use super strength for good, without harming others. I'll toss this rock into the air, and we'll pretend it's a falling meteor.
And, using his own mighty mechanical strength,
observe how I knock this falling meteor back into space. Pow! His meteor is solid granite. Now you show me whether you learn from my lesson. But he tossed me a boulder that was split into many pieces when I hit it. That's the catch in this question. My first blow shattered it into many flying fragments, but super fast blows will knock all the fragments safely skyward, so no one will be hit by them. Now for a lesson in super speed. He didn't say how I scored in that test, and I've still got that final test facing me, whatever it is.
zooming out over the sea.
Always remember that super speed creates a terrific air suction that can be dangerous to planes and people. Note that I'm staying above plane traffic levels. I've always been careful about that problem myself. Now I'll check your super speed ability. Show me how fast you can fly around that uninhabited island. Right!
But, as the Boy of Steel starts in blurring flight...
Uh-oh! I mustn't use my full speed, or my circulation flight will create a vortex and cause a tornado. I'll have to take it easy.
An instant later...
I know I was slow, but I didn't dare go any faster in a circular path. You were slow, and I've marked your grade accordingly. But the lesson on invulnerability is next.
And as robot teacher and super pupil zoom through a terrific thunderstorm...
Your invulnerability can be a great help,
by enabling you to shield others from dangers like that. But always remember that while you're invulnerable, ordinary people aren't. Moments afterward, on the brink of a mighty volcano, now we'll test how you use your invulnerability. That heavy stone will sink into the molten lava. You bring it back to me. The boy of steel dives into super hot lava, and then zooms skyward from the flaming crater.
Have to dash up to the stratosphere first.
After a minute,
You were slow bringing the stone back to me. But my body became super hot in that lava. I didn't dare approach anyone till I'd cooled off in the stratosphere, or I could burn them by radiating my heat.
well, a lesson on X-ray vision is next.
Still no hint how I'm doing in these tests, and my whole career depends on passing.
And soon, above Metropolis, your X-ray vision can be used in a broad general glance, or concentrated on one subject. Find the book that's cataloged number 1 in this library, and read it aloud to me.
That won't be hard.
But after a few moments of reading,
Chapter 14?
well, why don't you go on?
I can't keep my X-ray vision trained on that book too long, or its heat might set the book and library afire.
Well, I'll mark your grade on X-ray vision, and then we'll go back to your hometown for your test in ingenuity.
And back near Smallville, ingenuity requires cleverly using the best means at hand to meet a situation. Now we'll test yours, but first change back into your everyday identity. All right. Not a word about how I've done so far, and I've still got that mystery final test to worry about.
When Superboy has again become Clark Kent,
Now go back into your town as you are, and do every super feat you find necessary, without changing to Superboy. But that's impossible. How can I do super stunts as Clark Kent without giving away Superboy's identity? There's a way. If you're ingenious enough, I'll be high in the sky over the town, observing you with my own telescopic vision. It's hopeless, but I'll try it.
presently, as a worried Clark wonders how to prevent his priceless secret from being revealed,
There he is up there, watching me from high above. Maybe I'll be able to do my super stuff without anyone seeing me. But, oh no! Lana Lang!
Yoo-hoo, Clark. I've been looking for you. That old tree looks rotten and unsafe. I suggest you get Superboy to pull it up.
She's snooping again, and means to follow me to see if I change to Superboy. But my X-ray vision shows the tree is unsafe, so I've got to take care of it.
the next moment, Lana Lang gets the surprise of her life.
I'll take care of the danger myself.
Clark, you pulled it up by your own strength. This can only mean that you're Superboy. I've always suspected you were Superboy, and now you finally admitted it.
I admit or deny nothing.
Clark Kent is Superboy. We saw him use super strength.
Clark, if you're really Superboy, will you push over the old condemned factory chimney on my lot? It's a menace to the community.
The greatest sensation in Smallville's history spreads swiftly.
Every super stunt I do makes it more obvious that I'm Superboy. How can my ingenuity ever get me out of this?
He did it. One push and over it went. There's no doubt now that Clark is Superboy.
And to Jonathan and Martha Kent, the foster parents of Clark, comes the shock of their lives.
To think your son Clark was Superboy all the time. How well you kept your secret. What's happened? What do you mean?
A sight the Kents never expected to see meets their eyes.
That's it, Clark. Put the new Pioneer statue in the park, and then you can take the old rusty iron statue away to the junkyard.
Martha, I can't believe this.
Isn't it wonderful? Clark admitted first to me he's Superboy by openly doing a super feat. Clark may have some plan in mind, though I don't see what it can be. I won't admit anything until he says so. We, don't know what to say.
You've done a great service for Smallville, Clark. And now that we know you're Superboy, we say thanks.
I'll take the old statue to the junkyard. The robot teacher is still up there, watching me fail. But wait, maybe there is a way out of this spot.
And at the junkyard,
I've only got a few minutes before they get here. First, I need molten alloys I can make by squeezing junk metal together. I've drawn out the alloy into long lengths of super strong wire. Now to get my Superboy costume off from under my clothes.
in the next few seconds, the Boy of Steel works with desperate speed.
The wireframe will hold my costume out in lifelike shape. Now to tie these 4 long wires to the costume. It's my only chance.
Can any scheme now save Superboy's identity, or is it too late?
By throwing my costume up into the sky at super speed, it'll move so fast they won't see it. If my aim is only true.
Clark's aim is unerring, for high above the village,
He does have ingenuity. He wireframed his Superboy costume and threw it so it would wrap around me. Now, if I can slip away and fasten the lower ends of the other wires that lead up to my costume and the robot teacher.
Say, there's something fishy about this. There's a strong wire leading up to this old statue Clark carried. There's Superboy up there, with a wire by which he lifted the statue.
Let's see if there were wires on those other things Clark Kent pretended to carry.
by the time the crowd gets back to the scene of Clark's former exploits,
These other things. The big tree Clark pulled up and chimney he pushed over. And the new statue he carried. Wires go up from them to Superboy. Superboy lifted them all, and Clark only pretended to.
Just fasten those wires in time. Folks, I didn't mean to carry on any real hoax. But Lana Lang was so sure I'm Superboy that Superboy fixed up a little joke on her.
What do you think now, Lana?
Clark Kent, I'll never speak to you again.
Whew, that was close. Lucky for me that loyal Pa and Ma Kent would admit that I was Superboy. No matter what, I knew I could count on them.
moments later, outside Smallville,
You did prove your ingenuity, if only at the last minute, by using the only stratagem that would save your identity. Here is your costume. I'll put it on. Now what's the final test? There will be no final test, for you failed to make a perfect grade in the test so far. You must never use your superpowers on Earth again. Then my career is over forever? No, I can't. I won't give it up. Remember, your father ordered these tests so that if you failed them, you would be duty-bound never to use your superpowers to endanger others. All right. If I'm a danger to others, I'll never become Superboy again.
That was the final test, Superboy, to see if you'd sacrifice your own wishes for the good of others. And you've passed, with honors, as you've passed all the tests.
Then I can go on being Superboy? I really passed?
Later, the robot teacher takes off into space again. I've nothing more to teach you, but there are other worlds where an electronic teacher can be useful now that you've reset my controls, so I can visit them.
There goes the last link with my father in Krypton.
Farewell, teacher. The end. The Green Arrow. Houses moved, gifts delivered, chauffeur service. Whatever you want done, we'll do it with arrows. Reasonable fees.
I can't believe it! Green Arrow and Speedy hiring themselves out for money?
What's this? Green Arrow and Speedy renting out their services? Haven't the Emerald Archers always devoted their skills to law and order, or to charity, without taking a cent in return? Why are they now going into business, offering their arrows for hire? A serious problem confronts wealthy Oliver Queen and his young ward, Roy Harper, who are really the famed Green Arrow and Speedy.
Bad news, Roy. My financial investments have had some serious reverses in the past few months. They won't be paying off for a while. In other words, Oliver, we're temporarily broke. Worse than that, I owe 4 months' payments on our house. The bank has given me time, but unless we pay $2,000 in the next 2 days, they'll take the house over.
Golly, that would be disastrous. They'd surely discover our secret arrow cave.
If they took over the house, Roy. But they wouldn't do it if we could earn that money right away. We shouldn't find it hard as Green Arrow and Speedy.
You mean perform odd jobs with our arrows? Gosh, we've never done that before, except for charity.
Down in their secret arrow cave, shortly afterward,
there's no other solution, Roy. After you've switched to Speedy, deliver an ad to all the newspapers offering our services.
I guess you're right, Oliver. It is the only way to protect our secret identities.
So the stage is set as the pair dons its colorful, crime-fighting costumes and proceeds to lay the groundwork.
If we're going to be busy working for pay tomorrow, these tiny arrows will be an absolute necessity. Hope they don't affect my hearing too much, though.
Why is Green Arrow firing out these small shafts? And what have they got to do with his hearing? Can you guess? Next day, an astounding ad greets the eyes of newspaper readers.
Green Arrow? He wants a job?
What an idea! I can use 'em. Situations wanted. Green Arrow and Speedy. Any honest, well-paying work. All next morning, Green Arrow's phone service rings, and the twin archers leave to take their pick of jobs. My wife has everything it's possible for a woman to have. I'll give you $500 to create a really unusual gift.
Speak to Speedy, please. I can't hear you.
At the next would-be customer's office.
Very well. We'll take it.
What's wrong? Can't he hear for himself?
I'd rather not answer you, sir.
It says Stacy wants us to use an arrow to attract a huge crowd to their sale today. $1,000. What is wrong? Has Green Arrow gone deaf? It certainly doesn't seem so that way at the next interview. I want that house moved to the bottom of the hill. The road's too steep for a truck. If I have it on wheels by 2:30, can you do the job?
Surely. Our fee will be $500, half what you'd otherwise pay. And we've now got all the work we need for that $2,000.
Later, as the bowmen embark on their first task,
Folks, this golden arrow is just what it seems. A plain arrow, without any gimmicks. Yet, watch what happens when I fire it into the air.
all eyes follow the glittering missile skyward until
It stopped! It isn't rising! And it isn't falling!
It's defying the law of gravity. How come? Go to Stacy's department store at 3 o'clock, and we'll tell you how come.
news of the unique arrow speeds through the city like wildfire.
No wires or ropes! No magnets! An ordinary arrow. Why does it stay up there? They sure earned their fee. Everyone in town will be here to find out. Even I can't wait.
Meanwhile, the Emerald Archers complete delivery on their next job.
What's unusual about that? Just a clock.
Speak up, Green Arrow. Is that thing worth $500? Suddenly, bong!
Look! A miniature green arrow, and Speedy, striking the hour.
Zing! Thoo.
Right. And the angle of that target is well over anyone's head. At 2 o'clock, we'll shoot 2 arrows. Amazing! The most wonderful gift I ever received. Thank you, dear.
Later, as Green Arrow and Speedy head for their next job, in their famed arrow car,
That golden shaft has us all puzzled, Green Arrow. Can't you give us even a hint as to what makes it... How do you like that? He didn't even look at me. Green Arrow's never behaved that way before. He acted as if he was deaf.
yet the Archer's ears seem perfectly intact at his final destination.
I've been waiting here all day, Green Arrow. How can you get that house safely down that slope with arrows, when I can't do it with my truck?
Just watch, and you'll see.
Next moment, as the house starts to plummet down the hill,
There's an arrow at each end of this thick wire cable. I'll aim my arrow at the platform on which the house is resting. And I'll aim mine at the cliff.
then, as the house starts hurtling downward,
I'll steer, you watch, and see that the arrows hold tight.
at the foot of the hill, they come to a gentle halt.
There was just enough give in that cable to prevent the houses coming to a sudden stop. Neatly done, if I must say so myself, and to complete our day's chores.
All at once, as they head back toward the arrow car,
Speedy, it's happened. I suspected that crooks might choose this day, when everyone knew we'd be busy, to pull a big job, and I was right. Let's go to Castle's jewelry shop.
but how can Green Arrow know about a robbery taking place miles away? Presently,
Which way did they go? What kind of a car?
That way, blue sedan, brand new. But how did you know that the thieves just robbed the place?
ignoring the question, the Emerald Archers take off in swift pursuit, and soon,
There they are. This valve arrow should stop them without endangering traffic. I'll aim it for their tires.
unerringly, the arrow seeks its target, and
Air escapes from their tire through the tube arrow, and that valve controls the flow, so that it leaks out slowly. Since it makes the air escape slowly, there's no sudden blowout, and the car is stopped without the chance of its getting out of control. Very clever. But how did you get here so fast? And how did you know just where the job took place?
After the battling bowmen take their charges to jail, they answer that puzzling question.
I fired that arrow there last night. It's a little microphone that can pick up every word said in the store. I planted one in every place where crooks might make a big haul. I also inserted this tiny radio receiver in my ear, so I could listen in on each of the places I had fired those arrows. That's why I sometimes appeared deaf. When I had this thing tuned on, I couldn't hear outside conversations.
Having settled that problem, the ace archer proceeds to Stacy's department store to answer another question.
From any distance, this plastic balloon would be invisible. Speedy and I let one loose, and then, knowing the balloon's location, we shot that golden arrow into it. Since the plastic is self-sealing, the arrow is caught inside and is still floating within that invisible balloon.
You sure made a success of this job. Everyone in town is here. The greatest crowd we've had in years.
And so, the following day, a new trophy is added to the arrow cave.
There it is. The first money we ever earned as Green Arrow and Speedy. Little does anyone realize how it saved our entire careers.
It's a city savings bank received from Oliver Queen $2,000. Aquaman. There are 26 letters in the alphabet, and countless ways to combine them into words. Yet one letter, 1 out of 26, puzzles the ingenious monarch of the deep as he struggles vainly to complete the alphabet book of the sea. This is the ABC of the Sea by J. Oswald Sinker and Aquaman.
Well, Aquaman, we've got something for every letter except X. What's X in the alphabet of the sea?
X. I'm stumped.
One day, as Aquaman, astride his many-legged steed, Topo the octopus, patrols the South Pacific.
Help! My foot's caught in the anchor rope and going down. Help!
Somebody's in trouble, Topo.
Moments later, underwater,
his foot is helplessly tangled in the rope. I'll never free him in time. Not without the help of that cutlass fish. Cutlass fish! I've got a job for you.
As the cutlass fish obediently slashes through the anchor rope with its long razor-sharp fin.
Nice work. Now I'll find out what this clumsy fellow is doing in these waters.
Shortly after,
Thanks for saving my life, Aquaman. I'm J. Oswald Sinker. I write children's books. I'm the author of the ABC of Animals, the ABC of Birds, the ABC of Stars, and others. Now I want to write an ABC of the Sea. In fact, you're my first letter. A is for Aquaman, king of the deep. In fighting for justice, he's never asleep. Now I'll take a picture of you, in action pose on Christmas Island, my home base.
But
shortly after, as Aquaman obligingly dives off a cliff on the tiny Pacific island.
Wonderful! Amazing! Just what I want. This photo will go nicely with my verse about you.
I'd better look after this fellow. He's too reckless to stay out of trouble.
Later,
Christmas Island is one of the smallest islands in Tahiti. Why'd you make it your base of operation?
Because I was born on December 25th, Christmas Day. I thought it would bring me luck, and it has. It brought me you. You're going to help me, aren't you?
Looking at some of the impossible things you want to photograph, I'm afraid I'll have to. What's next on your list?
B for Blackbeard, the pirate's treasure, but I haven't the slightest idea where it is.
I do. It's in a sunken frigate off the coast of Madagascar. I've passed it 100 times. I'll be back shortly.
Great! Meanwhile, I'll make up a verse. Let's see now. B for Blackbeard.
Presently. There it is. But how am I going to haul Blackbeard's boat back to Christmas Island? Unless... A few hours later, some of my Leviathan friends were passing by, so I bridled them up with a seaweed twine, and here's the result.
That's what I call a whale of a job. Listen to my verse, Aquaman. B is for Blackbeard and his treasure, of course. He's gone from history, and it's nobody's loss.
You'll never be Shakespeare, Sinker. I'll hunt down C after I photographed Blackbeard's treasure for you. Soon after, here it is, Sinker, and I'll help you out with a few rhymes. C is for catfish, with whiskers so slim. Who is the fool who said cats can't swim?
Wonderful, Aquaman. You rhyme as well as you dive.
Later,
I'm worried, Aquaman. I was looking over the alphabet while you were away. What can we use to illustrate X? I can't think of a thing.
Don't worry. We'll find something. I'm going after D and E. Since we had C for catfish, here's D for dogfish. As for E, the electric eels have spelled out their own verse. Grab an underwater camera, Sinker. E is for eel. We give electricity free. Name your current, AC or DC. Next is F for flying fish. Minutes later, F is for fish, the species that flies. On their finny trapeze, you can soar through the skies.
That's fine, Aquaman, but I'm still worried. What's X? We've got nothing for X.
Stop fretting, Sinker. We'll think of something. We've still got 17 letters to go.
All right. I need guppies next. I'll get a tropical tank ready.
After Aquaman delivers the marine midgets...
This is perfect, Aquaman. Now I've got G for guppies. I'll give you author's credit on the book.
Don't thank me, Sinker. I'm glad to help out on a book which will popularize the 7 seas. Later, as Aquaman goes after the letter I by photographing the island of Atlantis, these will be the first pictures of the sunken island ever taken. Who said Atlantis didn't exist? Shortly after, in the Indian Ocean, here's another verse, Sinker. K is for kissing fish, the sea's fondest lovers. There's no stopping Romeo when Juliet he discovers. Even L for Latimeria doesn't escape Aquaman.
Why, that fish is supposed to be dead for 60 million years. Only one Latimeria has ever been captured. It's in a museum now.
Well, this one's going right back to his pitch-black, fathomless home when you're through filming, Sinker. Fish belong in the sea, not museums. As Aquaman fills in the rest of the alphabet, M is for manta ray, N is for needlefish, O is for oyster, P is for porpoise.
But what's X? I can't complete my alphabet book of the sea without X.
Unperturbed, Aquaman continues. With the help of brightly colored eels, he orders 48 starfish to form a patriotic picture.
The American flag.
with red, white, and blue eels as stripes and borders. What an ingenious S for starfish photo.
Presently, on Sinker's boat,
We've done amazingly, but we still haven't got the letter X.
let it wait. First, I'll get the Tuscarora Trench. It's in the deepest part of the Pacific, 7 miles deep. Later, beneath the ocean, it's so dark I must take infrared pictures. This underwater canyon runs from Polynesia to Japan. The water here is 35,000 feet deep. Shortly after, as Aquaman goes after V for viperfish, the viperfish are cousins of the lanternfish. They've got luminescent scales which shine in the dark. And later, as the walking fish struts his stuff on the sea bottom, that takes care of W for walking fish. Now we're up against it. Sinker is looking at me. Without X, he can't complete his ABC book. Let's see now. X. Hours later,
It's no use, Aquaman. All your work is in vain. There's no X. My book is worthless.
no, Sinker, don't give up. We must think. Something in the sea has to begin with the letter X.
I give up, Aquaman. The ABC of the sea can never be written. I'm going to go back to Christmas Island and pack up my equipment.
Wait! I have got it! I've got the letter X! How blind we were! It's right under our noses. The letter X is... 2 months later, as Aquaman patrols the Atlantic on fateful Topo's back. Wait, Topo! It's J. Oswald Sinker. He's calling to us. He's waving a book.
Aquaman, it's published. Here's the first copy. Hot off the presses. Turn to the X page, quick. How can I thank you enough, Aquaman? Without you...
Bosh, it was fun. Just remember this, though, Mr. Sinker, or whoever you are. It says X is for Xmas Island, Christmas Island to you, where A to Z was finished, because Aquaman found the clue. If you sail the 7 seas, in gondola or catamaran, and you find yourself in trouble, please call on Aquaman. And the end. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. If you have any requests you want me to do, just let me know in the comments, and I'll tell you when I can do the request. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.